Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and we're talking deer this morning. So we have had some deer getting into our peas lately. I've posted about it a couple of times and I wanted to share with you this morning our solution to getting the deer out. Once the deer discover things like peas growing, they are really hard to turn away out of it. So in a perfect world, we would have a 7-foot deer fence, and I think that would deter them pretty well. Right now what we have is a 7-strand electric fence. So it's every other wire is hot ground, so that even when they jump through, they're still grounded and they should still get shocked. We have added, I don't even know how many grounding rods at this point. There is The fence can run up to 6,000 or 7,000 volts. We've had it that high before. I think right now, because we need to go in and get some of the weeds out from under it, that sort of thing, I think we're not running quite as hot as we normally are. But we do have a fence here, so we've tried that method, but ideally we would have an actual deer fence instead of the electric fence. So I'm going to tell you kind of what we do with the deer since we don't have that situation. This is our pea patch behind me. There's about 2/10 of an acre there. Once the deer discover it, it's really hard to keep them out. So we have had a couple of different deer over the last few years that just would not learn the electric fence. Most animals don't need very much zap before they decide to stay out. Some animals are just going to test those limits. We have a dog that it doesn't really matter how hot the fence is. He's willing to risk it to see what's on the outside. Most dogs are really easy to train to electric fence. He is not. So there's just going to be some animals that they're willing to take the sting to get to what's on the other side. And so that's the situation that we have here. So anytime I post about deer, people automatically assume that they know the full story and they start giving me all sorts of suggestions on what I'm supposed to do about the deer, as if we've never tried anything. So we've tried a lot of things. What we've done in this situation is we've applied for and gotten and made use of a Texas State Parks and Wildlife depredation permit. What that is if you can prove that you have deer or other wildlife damaging your crops, you can hunt them outside of the season to remove them from your crops. Now it's a whole system. It's not a quick and easy thing. But that's what we've done in this case. The deer permit it's a $250 application fee in the first place, and that is the fee to apply. You are not in any way guaranteed that you will get the permit. We did get the permit this time. This is actually the second time we've been able to get the permit. There's a few things that go along with that. First of all, you have to be able to prove that you are making money off of what is being grown that the animals are eating. So in our case, we had to send in some sales records and that sort of thing. Then we had to send in pictures of the damage in the field so that they could verify that there was damage. We can only hunt the deer inside the high fence. We can't go for anything that is outside the high fence. And then of course there's still hunting licenses. If you were born after 1971, I think it is, you still have to have your hunter education course. All of those things are still involved. But there is, like, night hunting is allowed. I think spotlighting is even allowed, but you have to call in and let the game warden system know that you will be hunting with your permit, what hours you'll be hunting with your permit, that sort of thing. That way they kind of know to be aware that there might be a deer shot at some point. So last night, about midnight, Brandon came out and he did catch the deer in the peas inside the fence, eating the crop. And so he made use of our depredation permit and he has killed the deer, and she is no longer going to be causing us any issues. The other thing about this permit is we are not allowed to make use of any part of the deer. We cannot keep the hide, we can't keep any of the meat, we can't possess anything that was killed to remove it from this crop. So the meat all has to be donated. So that is kind of one blessing that comes out of this. This was a really nice healthy doe, and so she's going to go feed a family, and so that part is good. What it was really a curse to us in our garden is going to be a blessing to another family, so that part is good. It's just frustrating because when you take them out of season using the permit, now that's one less for us to be able to hunt for our family later. And our family, we're really not big hunters. Neither of us grew up hunting. It's just not really anything that we get into necessarily. But we would love to put a deer in our freezer and have the meat. But that can't happen with the permit. So what happens now is hopefully this is the only one we're going to need to remove. The permit is good for a full year from the time you apply and receive the permit. So we got it middle of August, so we can use it until the middle of August next year. You do have to report everything that you kill. There's records to keep, all that stuff. But we're hoping this one doe is all that we have to get right now. We're hoping she's the only one that has figured out the fence and that we can keep everybody else outside the fence. But if another one comes in, we do already have this in place for us to be able to take it out. Now that the deer is out of the peas, hopefully we'll be harvesting a lot more peas. We can also go in and add additional crops. So for example, one year a deer came in and ate all of our cold crops, the broccolis, cabbages, that sort of thing. So now when we plant those, we can go back and add those to the permit and be able to protect those as well. Anything that's within the fence we can protect because the fence says that we've already tried other methods. And people always have suggestions. Oh, you just need to throw hair out there. You need coyote urine from the Tractor Supply or whatever. None of those things help once a deer has found a food source like this. Some people have suggested that we plant a food plot for them somewhere else, and that might help to keep them away from the crops, or they might just really learn to love the taste of the peas and try harder to get into the fence. It's kind of hard to say which way that would go. So ultimately what we really need to do is just put up an actual high fence. That's a very expensive undertaking, so that hasn't happened yet. But for right now, hopefully the one deer that we know was causing trouble is gone, and we'll be paying attention for more prints and more signs of damage to know if we'll need to hunt another one. But that is what we did to deal with the deer. And again, this is a depredation permit through the state of Texas. It's a legal hunt, it's a legal kill, even though it's outside of the season. But this is not something that you can just say, oh, there's deer eating my petunias, and get a permit to do, unless you happen to be selling your petunias like you need to be able to prove this is a viable business, not just something you do for fun. So that's the update on the deer. Hopefully that cleared up some questions for some of you. I know a lot of you always have suggestions on what we're supposed to do, but that was ultimately what needed to happen to remove this problem deer, and now we can get back to growing peas. So thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. I hope you learned something from this. If you're interested in more information, I know I've got an older video about this. You might scroll back and look for that as well. But thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. Y'all be sure and tell your friends about our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and come back when you can stay longer.